Thank you very much. Okay, agenda item 25.21.1 is to receive apologies. So we don't have any because everybody's here. We do. Sorry, Cynthia. Yes, sorry. We do need. Yes, sorry. I wasn't thinking there, Cynthia. I will propose really Cynthia's apologies. Can I have a seconder and can we all vote?
Okay.
I'll tell her.
No objection.
Okay, agenda item.
She runs me ragged.
Please excuse me if I read anything wrong. I've not brought my right glasses. 25.21.2 is to go declarations of interest and request for dispensation to discuss and vote on a matter in which a member of or co-opted member has a disposable pecuniary or non-pecuniary interest. Does that apply to any councillors as regards any items on this agenda? No.
No, Chair.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we've got an open forum and no people here, so we can bypass agenda item 25.21.3. 25.21.4 is to approve and sign the minutes of the Hampshire Town Council Finance Committee meeting of the 15th of July. Does anybody have any issue with those minutes?
Roger has sent me some amendments which I've made.
So just type that.
Okay, typos. Okay, can I have a proposal to accept those then, please? And a seconder. Thank you. All those in favour? Agenda item 25.21.5 is to approve and sign the minutes of the Handford Town Council meeting the 15th of July 2025. Does anybody have any issues with any of the minutes on there? No? Okay, we're quite happy. Then I'll propose we accept them. May I have a seconder? Thank you. Yeah. All those in favour? Thank you very much.
Yeah.
We'll
go through who wasn't here.
25.21.6 is to elect a vice chair to the Town Council's Finance Committee. Now, our finance chair can't be here. Do you not think we ought to defer this? No, you want to do it? Yep. Okay. Well then, would anybody like to put themselves forward as vice chair?
Who is on the committee?
Who is on it?
Can you read them out?
Sue, you're on it.
Yes.
Roger, you're on it. Lee, you're on it.
What am I being asked?
Wendy, you're on it.
What am I being
Finance
asked about?
Who does she want?
You.
Well done.
Okay, so the proposal is then, I'll propose to Councillor Wendy Fogarty to be vice chair. I'll propose. Can I have a seconder from the finance?
Oh, Roger's quick there.
Yes, thank you. All those in favour?
You're on the
That's
finance
everybody.
committee,
Thank you.
That's why I said who she wants. Yeah.
Okay, agenda item 25.21.7 is to approve and sign the order of payments for September 2025. Does anybody have any queries on those payments, order of payments? No? No? Okay, no, I've already looked at it and I've not raised any queries, so can I have a, sorry, Councillor Small?
I wondered what the town council got for premium hosting under Cloud Next. Ashley did tell me a few days ago. I've totally forgotten what the response was.
It's our domain space on the internet for our website.
But that's also the previous line, isn't it?
No.
Oh, domain
Domain
renewal.
renewal is something else. It's because we have a .gov.uk domain name. We have to renew that every year or 2 years or something like that. So,
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. Right.
It's a couple of separate things that you have to pay for.
Yeah.
Yes, there's an item on there that people probably don't know about, which was the DP.
DFib.
Merton Road Park. The defibrillator that was at the Wagon and Horses that the town council paid for has been retrieved, and when we get permission, had permission.
No, God, no.
We've not had permission, but it's proposed that it goes in Merriton Road Park. We do need some new.
No, these defib pads, because that's one of our first defibrillars that are in store.
Yeah.
The pads have an expiry date of say 3 to 5 years.
Yeah.
They expired, so
Yeah, we've just got to replace.
yeah.
So that's where the defibrillator is going if we get permission. No, just
Will it go back there when the new premises, whatever it's going to be, if it's, as rumour has it, an Aldi or something like that, will it go back there then? Will you
I'm
look
hoping that whoever takes over the premises will put their own in, but
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
for.
Will
I thought you were going to do Wetherspoons.
We don't know.
No, it's not spoons.
Definitely not. I heard it was going to be Wetherspoons.
Yeah.
You've heard it's,
Wetherspoons. No, it's not spoons. I looked an email.
Aldi spoons.
well, whoever takes it over, we'll ask them, you need to put a defib
If they
in.
do, Tesco's have got one, Hampton Dean.
Well, imagine if the Wetherspoons takes it, they won't demolish it.
No.
They'll just put the toilets and stuff.
Right, okay, no more construction. Councillor Smith, looks like you want to say something.
Council said that the plan is to demolish.
Really?
They've made the staff aware of that. That's why the staff have been finished and relocated to different pubs and stuff.
Right.
They were told it will be getting demolished. I can't
Is
see
it
them
definitely
demolishing
gonna
it.
be-
Taking all the
It just
stuff out
looks
of
awful, doesn't it, at the moment?
the- taking all the stuff out the inside,
Yeah.
which if another pub crew was going to take it over
Should
there,
feel for
that would be,
Sorry.
Demolition would require permission, would it not, from Cheshire East Council?
yes.
And it also, there's something in the neighbourhood plan about the preservation of pubs, which will have a bearing on it as well.
We wait and see.
There has been no application for
No.
demolition.
So there's nothing to say from now they are little, you know.
Nothing. No information.
Okay, can we have a proposal please to approve and sign the orders of payments for September 25? Okay, you've got a choice there. And the second then? All those in favour? Thank you. Agenda item 25.21.8 is to receive any report from Hunter Ward councillors.
I chose to do a report on Hancock rather than Penny. Okay, yeah. Following the meeting at Merry Road Park earlier this year, we've now been informed that the replacement play equipment, roundabout players, and the swing seat gets chucked out, and goalposts, the request has been installed in the near future. That's being funded by the remaining S106 monies from the Amwell estate.
From?
The Amwell estate. At the end of July, we met with Network Rail and a number of residents from the carriages who had concerns, not Network Rail, but members of the carriages, regarding loss of privacy from the proposed southbound lift installation. The people who were having this problem with the being overlooked didn't realise that it's not the other way around, so people weren't looking out. People can still look over the existing station concourse and see. It was a NIMBYism, because the actual houses themselves were built after the agreement to the lifts. But they seem to have gone away with that. The representatives from Northern Rail explained the plans in detail, which seemed to go some way to alleviating their concerns. However, Network Rail wanted to revisit the original plan of level access from South Acre Drive rather than northbound lift. We explained that that's not an option, according to their own report from November 2018. We're hoping for an update on proposed installation in the next few weeks. As I said earlier, the Wagon Horse pub closed down 2 weeks ago. There's been a lot of speculation on who bought it for what purpose. As yet, there has been neither consent to demolish nor any planning application submitted to Cheshire East Council. The defibrillator was removed from there last month and will be re-sited on the pavilion in Merry Road Park, subject to permission from Cheshire East Legal. Winslow Road from Clay Lane to Station Road will be closed on Tuesday, the 16th of September, from 9 AM until 4 PM, for resurfacing works to take place. Access will be maintained for residents and businesses. We've also requested that the double yellow lines at the top of School Road and Merritt Road be repainted at the same time so that parking restrictions can be applied again. The works on the northern section of the cycle lane are well underway, and so far, traffic management appears to be working. Alternative parking arrangements have been made for the cars which previously parked on Manchester Road in the advisory cycle lane. This will help to mitigate the effects of parking on residential streets. Anforth Junior Youth Club volunteers, in collaboration with PCSO Grad Harden, held 4 fun days in Merritt Park and Stanley Hall Park throughout August. These events were open to anyone, and the children attended, had a great time, as did the volunteers. We've spent much of the last 2 weeks speaking to neighbours and liaising with planning enforcement about a property on Hallwood Road in 23, which had approved planning permission for a 6-metre rear extension. The owner then proceeded to demolish the property in clear breach of planning regulations and damaging at least one other property in the process, and are now started to rebuild on the site. Planning enforcement have instructed them to cease pending approval of a new full planning application being submitted and approved. I don't know if anyone's been past there recently, but they're putting up a very large frontage. This is the guy who wanted to build a 2-storey, 4-bedroom property. That's totally not in keeping with.
Have they ceased?
No, they carried on
Carry on.
working. We had a situation where we were there just about 6 or 7 nights on the trot. We called in, what do we call it? Cadence, because they left pipes and cables
Yeah.
and electric board in as well.
Yeah.
We've got highways because they put all their pallets of bricks on top of the footpath. There is a pipeline underneath the property that goes through Merritt Road Park. Sorry, that goes to through the park at Knoll House near there, and then goes to the airport. It's a fuel line.
Oh, yes.
And
Yeah.
then they were looking at possible, if they had some sort of accident with the gas and electric, which was still connected, then that would cause a problem. They came out and inspected it, and it wasn't quite within, or it wasn't in the house behind them. The electric board, they tapped off, and they made the guys build a small brick house for the ends of the pipelines and the electricity. They're still going ahead with it. They were told not to, and the planning enforcement have informed us that they will be. They've instructed the architect to tell them to stop building, and he's just carried on. And that there would be, for them to have a planning application, there has to be a building there, which might be why they're putting it up, but they've not got planning permission of what they are putting up. So we're hopeful that we'll be getting in touch with them over the next few days because of the size of the frontage that we put on.
So have they stopped building?
No,
They're still going on?
they actually did the footings.
They want to knock it down, isn't it?
They actually did the footings
Knocking
for
it
the new building as they were knocking down the previous one. They put the footings in, and then they had 21 pallets of breeze block and 6 or 7 pallets of facing bricks. And yes, they've been just carrying on working. And we even had health and safety there. They eventually turned up because people were they're in training shoes, no helmets, no PPE, no even nod to the fact that they're doing something. Just carry on doing what they were doing.
So where does this go now?
Where it goes is hopefully when we showed them some new photographs, suggestions for the planning enforcement, and that they go back and say, because they were told, stop doing it, otherwise it will be at your own expense, implying that they will have to knock it down again.
Yeah.
Well, I hope they make them knock it down again.
But that's the point that's been made, certainly Julie made it on a number of occasions, since she was speaking to the Chester East Enforcement, is that If you're allowed to do it, there's no point in having a planning party.
No.
No, exactly.
That's your
That's all,
point, yeah.
exactly. I said this at the planning meeting. I'm sick and tired of people just doing what they like and then going for retrospective planning permission. What's the point of having the whole planning system? If they do, it's okay if the odd one or two people do it, but it's not okay. But you know, you've only got a couple of people. But what happens when everybody starts doing it? It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
They need to come down like a ton of bricks.
That's what we're requesting. And that's what they've indicated that they will be doing. We've spoken to everyone and his brother in Cheshire East Planning Enforcement, right at the very top. A new email will be going out to them in the next day or so to say, look, they're still carrying on. We need to do something.
What they doing?
It looks like what they originally wanted to build, which was a
Sure.
4-bedroom house,
Oh,
which is totally out of keeping with the fact that they're all bungalows.
Well, it's
oh yeah, that's the one between the bungalows, isn't it? And they said no.
That's right.
We objected, didn't we, because it wasn't in keeping.
I think they withdrew the application, did they?
Sorry?
They withdrew.
They withdrew the application,
Yes.
didn't they?
Yeah. And then just carried on.
Wasn't the original house joined to another house?
It was linked
Yeah,
by
right,
a car
yeah.
port, and that's caused damage to the person next door. And when she asked them to fix the roof, they said, well, no, one guy rolled up a bin bag and stuffed it in the hole. So, we're different culture, and
Yeah, I'm guessing they're not British.
they're not.
Cancer small.
So,
John, please may I ask you to go back over what you said about the station? I tried to jot it down, but I got a bit lost. You mentioned two things, that people who live in the carriages were complaining about the possibility of lifts being erected on the southbound platform. Has that been smoothed over, that particular problem?
no, because they were coming up with another solution to having access from the northbound side from the ground level, and then not having a lift on that side, and then just having a lift on the other side. We said, well, hang on, how are people going to get back up? No.
So that
A bit of a lack of an understanding of what a lift does.
I'm trying to get this straight in my mind. So
They were worried about people at the top going into the lift, you know, to look over where all the bushes and trees are now.
Which you can do
into their
anyway.
back gardens.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand
You can do
that.
that anyway, walking down the steps.
Okay. But despite their worries, the plans are that the southbound, the lifts on the southbound platform are still going ahead.
Yes.
Right. And more interesting, you were talking about level access from South Acre Drive.
Yeah.
Who has proposed that?
That was an alternative
That
to
was
the
one
lift.
of the,
One of the suggestions
one
for
of
an
the people who
alternative.
live in the carriages. He
Right.
came out, and, well,
That
we
wasn't
spoke to him.
That wasn't a Network Rail suggestion then?
No. Yes, because of this person who come up with it. And then Network Rail thought, oh, well, can't we do that? And that's when Billy and I both explained to the three Network Rail people, no, we can't do that. Because it's impossible for people on South Acre Drive. There's no room for any car parking. To get south, the ground level access, where are you going to put the ticket machine? Where are you going to get the tickets from? But the main caveat on it is the fact that you would have to walk, if you've got off at the station, that's all the way down one station road, turn left,
Yeah.
go down South Acre Drive, and come round, and that the maximum amount of foot distance that you can have to get to the ticket office is 400 metres, and that's more, certainly more.
Have Cheshire East Council as a whole pronounced on this matter?
They gave planning permission, and that's as far as they need. They're happy. That's going on.
They've approved the original set of plans, which was for a lift on each side of the station.
Yeah.
End of story as far as Cheshire East are concerned.
I think it may have been the fact that whether or not the Network Rail have not been very judicious with their storage of the money.
Oh, exactly.
I can't believe that they won't have an aspect
I just want,
interest.
I'd like to make the point that in order to get these lifts, a GRIP 2 study had to be done in the first instance before anyone could apply for an Access for All grant. Cheshire East Council themselves tipped in 10,000 quid. The erstwhile Hadforth Parish Council tipped in £5,000, and Northern Trains tipped in £5,000, making a grand total of 20,000 quid, which was used to employ an international firm of consulting engineers who recommended a lift on each side of the station. It would seem crazy now to just throw all that effort away and not a
People's
few.
not being thrown away.
I know,
John just
People
said.
with carriages with concerns said, well, you could put ramps down. No, you can't.
Yeah.
Because it's not long enough to have ramps.
Yeah, yeah.
Permission for the
Well,
lifts
that was
given
clear
before
in the
carriages was even
report from Livigan and
created.
Co.
So they've
Right.
got no leg to stand
Thank
on, that's what John said.
Okay.
Yes, thanks, John.
We've been given access to some winter warmth items given out to anyone who's going to be struggling to afford to keep their homes this winter. If you've got anyone in mind that might benefit from that, please refer anyone to Julie. You can have access to that. That's the report.
Thank you very much. Okay, does anybody else have any questions for Councillor Johnson? Okay, thank you. Agenda item 25.21.9 is to receive all larger projects from HTC members which they wish to undertake in the next financial year, these to be included in the 26-27 financial year budget. Okay, so we have several here. Purchase and installation of playground equipment in Hanforth Park, myself, 25,000. Funding for Hanforth Library to allow operation on Saturday mornings, 26,500. Funding for a new Hanforth History Trail, 10,000, Councillor Small. Funding for a summer event to coincide with Armed Forces Day, £5,000, Councillor Edward Beach. The budget is to be set in October 25, along with any necessary adjustments to the preset to reflect these projects. So I'll start with mine because it's the first on the list, and then we'll go around. Our parks are in a terrible state, and as a council, we don't have access to, apart from maybe some S106 money, which we may be able to get from somewhere, we can't apply for grants. One of the objects of having the Greener Spaces group, which is the meeting next Tuesday, is that it will be a group that is independent from the council. And therefore, I happen to have every single day all these grant applications and being forwarded them from Cheshire East. There are lots of those that independent groups can apply for and could help with, well, actually, one or two of these projects. But it depends on whether the group gets off the ground and so forth and so on. As an overall, the 25,000 is a complete refurb. We've got two parks. We've got, Ashley's got some pictures here. We've got Merton Road Park and Parsonage Park. I'm not including Stanley Hall unless somebody wants me to include it. It will be included in the greener space, but Stanley Hall is very well looked after by a group of very capable people. And at the moment, it's one of the best parks we've got. It's beautiful and it's very well looked after. You look at Merton Road Park and you look at Parsonage Park and they're an absolute disaster. They're awful. Now, 25,000 covers the refurbishment of one park. So it would have to be one this year, one next year. But talking through this, the premise is if we look at these and we all agree, we put the precept up. Or an alternative which came to mind when I was thinking about this is we could apply to the Public Works and add it on to our 250,000 and spread the cost over the years it takes us to pay that back.
Right.
Is that a possibility?
It is.
But then I thought, yes, that's a possibility. And I think as a council, we ought to try and raise some funds in some way or another. That is, tabletop sales, runs, whatever. Anything we can think of, we all get involved and we try and raise some money to put towards it. Because I always think it's a lot better if you've got something to put into the pot. And I think as a council, we should try and do this towards all of these. So that's my reasoning for the park. And then I come to councillors. Can I just do Councillor Smith first and we'll go down the order. So Councillor Smith, can you talk about your library?
Oh, I've just got to ask you a question on Merritt Road Park. What is it in particular that you're looking to renew at the park? Because there's two things. There's a roundabout that got damaged. It may have been someone with one of these electric bikes putting the wheel down and it spins off. The other one was the swing seat that disappeared. Because at one stage he said that they're not legal, and then he worked out that they were because of all the other parks they've got in Crewe that have got them. They are being replaced. The swings are still functional. When we had the meeting with Eddie Yoxall, and it's Rob, I think, not Tim, the rest of it is still functioning. Even the zip line, which needs a new little seat, but they're going to sort that out as well. So, is it the play area that you could serve with change?
Well, the surface wants replacing. It's got huge holes in it. It just needs redoing. And quite honestly, the stuff that they've got down there, I don't think it's at all appropriate. I'd much rather see this soft play stuff put down. And then it's a question of looking to see what we can see, what we'd like to replace. I don't have any specific ideas. I just know when I take my grandson in there, there's very little he can ever go on. And that, it's a disgrace. It's supposed to be a park. Parsonage Park is even worse. And that might be the one we do first. If we can get the things for Merriton Road Park sorted and maybe do a couple of other bits and pieces. So it might be that we do Parsonage Park first, but I just want the parks to be what they're supposed to be, is a park and a play area where parents can take their children. We don't all have the luxury of a garden, and lots of parents just want to get outside and let their kids just run around and enjoy the fresh air and get on the equipment. And we don't all have swings in the background either. And that's what I want it to be. It's for our community. So the question is, John, I don't know specifically what it is, and we'd have to do an itemised, but I think as far as parsonage is concerned, I think it's just a rip out and start again.
Absolutely agree. Ashley's got some prices.
So John, you said the Merritt Park is sorted. Playground bit is sorted.
Yeah, the 2/3 things that needed replacing is being done currently. But when I do a lot of walking, and when I go through the park quite often, and it's usually full. Usually lots of people.
I think you'll make Austin very happy to sort out.
Which one's Parsonage?
All the road.
The one where the passage used to be.
Yeah.
Which is a lovely green space. It's a lovely little green space.
It's very enclosed as well.
It's very safe, isn't it? It feels very safe.
It just
anyway.
needs like little picnic benches. And,
Yeah.
do you know, like the park has been doing? We go in there every day. So, we just need more benches, picnic benches, just a little bit, just to make it nice again. But it's a lovely park.
Well, I'm meeting with Ruth Morgan tomorrow, and that's part of, what we're going to do in the green spaces.
So I'll be at the green space.
Is it nothing to do with Cheshire East? Is it not a Cheshire East issue?
Oh, I'd love it to be a
Well, I know they've got no
They
money,
haven't
they're
got any
absolutely
money,
skint.
full stop.
I know the skin, but in theory, is it not a Cheshire East problem?
But look, it comes down to, this is our community.
Yeah, absolutely.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
And that, what are we here for?
To
Why
provide
are we
for it,
here?
yeah.
What do we want to achieve? We want to, in my head anyway, I want to improve the community for everybody. And that's why we all have different agendas. John's looking at the library, I'm looking at parks. Roger wants to do the history trail, and Joanna wants to do the events. And we're covering all sorts of different things, which is brilliant. That's what we're here to do. And
It's a case
that's
of,
my idea.
you can argue to glue the face for 5 years with Cheshire East overdoing something, or
But-
you can raise the money and do
Because
it.
the Cheshire East aren't going to stop us doing this, are they?
No,
Because, I mean, I've got a thing that I'll talk to Ashley
Ah,
about.
yeah.
And I've said, I'll deal with that. No. And Cheshire East have put a real, even though it's a danger to life issue, they've gone, oh, no, you got. And I-
no, they're not going to object.
No.
I mean, so just let people know that about 2 years ago, Peter, when we met with the Oxall and people from ANSA in all the different parts.
Oh, yes, indeed.
And Basley Parks was one of them. They were actually embarrassed because of the condition it's in. And they said that they get £250 per year maintenance for Cheshire East Parks. So I asked, well, can we have the 30 years worth of maintenance that we
So it's
need?
comes around.
But that didn't get anywhere.
Go wish.
But we can't get money out of Cheshire East. Trying to get money out of the S106 is a lottery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have an opportunity, as Susan mentioned, about going and getting some money from elsewhere. The thing is that we're setting a precept that can accommodate paying that loan back without, except the same about your desktop, tabletop, things like that's good if you're only looking to raise a few £100. But if you need to raise thousands, then
Well, this is the problem, isn't it?
I think, yeah. But given the amount of the precept, and we can justify an increase in the precept because of the number of properties that we've got in Hanforth now. That's what pushes what the precept is justified at.
And there will be a lot more,
Yes.
won't there?
Yeah. So I'm like I said before, that option of going to the loan board, which our clerk has got previous to doing that. So
This is the point there, John, that this stuff should last us 10 years or whatever. So you pay it over a few years. You don't have to pay all of it.
yeah.
I think the other point we need to do is to communicate to the village what we're doing. But if we're saying we're going to put up your money, X thousand pounds, but we're trying to raise money from elsewhere, from companies, crowdfund raising, whatever, I think we're to be seen to be trying to raise money from other ways to supplement what they're all, residents are paying.
Certainly before that loan.
No stone unturned.
Okay, Councillor Fogarty.
So if we just
Do we have to
Just
buy,
1 second, John.
do we have to buy the stuff through the Cheshire Council? I know we bought we were having arguments about buying a bench before, that we couldn't buy just any bench.
We will go
What's
to
the difference with
we
this
can
one?
go to a contractor that works with local authorities.
Yeah.
So they
But
they
they're a
have
private
all the
contractor, they
authorisation
work,
to do.
they've got the authorisation to
So
work
we're
with
not
local
buying it
authorities.
for the added cost of Cheshire
No,
East added on?
no, that's one thing.
Right.
Good question.
Sorry, Councillor Smith, carry on.
what was I saying? Yes, there will be an outstanding amount, obviously, to pay. So, but as Ashley can probably explain better than I, if we don't have to pull it all off at once, we don't have to say get everything done. We do it in pieces,
Yes.
but have the funds available
Yeah.
should we need them for a certain project.
Yeah.
The precept comes from Cheshire East. We're not getting money from Cheshire East to do what we want to do. So we take the money from Cheshire East via the precept. And that's why we're suggesting that there's an uplift in the amount of precept that we want. And if we did go for a loan, that loan can be paid off by a small, not a major portion
That's
of
right.
the precept.
Yeah. That's what I would favour, to stagger the amount of period of time.
Do you want to?
Sorry, Ashley, what's the time of the loans? What's the time you can have these loans over?
It depends on what you want to borrow and how long you want to borrow it for.
So it's flexible.
Yeah, so it's a short as the form, to be perfect. Yeah, it is a short as the form, yeah.
Do you like to explain your library?
Yeah. Yeah, as you obviously well, we spent a lot of time on the paddock trying to get people's support. I went to the committee meeting where they were going to decide on the the cost of the library and whether or not to be funded, and I was extremely disappointed when they just voted on party lines, and that's something that we can't ever do anything about. I was congratulated on what we put up there, thought it was very good, but again, we're not having it anyway, because they can't have one happen and then everyone else has to pay. So that's why my parting shot to them was, I'm sure that they had a library when they were children, why can't handball children have a library?
Yeah.
And I think that that's important because lots of people use that on Saturday morning. So when we can't actually go full yet on discussing it with staff, but keep that to ourselves at the moment because we've got to get permission to actually do it. From the, I don't know the title, actually.
Library services manager.
Yeah, library services manager. It needs doing because that's there's many people who use that library on a Saturday morning, not just kids, but organisations, people who are there for mental health meetings. It's a no-brainer. It needs to be done.
Well, interestingly, I was there this afternoon just to talk about the, the book thing challenge that the kids have done, and I was talking to them about numbers of visitors, and they said they've been quite staggered by the number of people who said we can't come anymore because it's not open at a time that I'm available. And then figures are down by about a third, which is horrendous, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's whether you get that third back. I'm sure you would if you opened on a Saturday morning, but it's gone down very quickly, hasn't it?
It's quite
from that?
substantial.
Yeah.
The number of people who use
So-
that Saturday morning. I was told up to 100 at one stage.
Sorry.
Up to 100 individuals.
Yeah.
Part of different groups.
Okay, Councillor Small.
Chair, am I correct in thinking that when we look down these 4 intended projects, that the funding for the library would be an annual cost, the funding for the summer event, the Armed Forces Day, would be an annual cost, whereas the funding for the playground equipment would perhaps be a 2-year outlay, and the funding for the history trail would just be a one-off.
This is correct. It could be a 2-year thing for the parks. It's usually a 3-year agreement for the library, one off for the history trail, and the other, I'm assuming you want it to go on for as many years as possible, sort of thing. So the ongoing cost,
And at some stage in the future, there will be still one, won't there?
it still will balance this out eventually. And everything we're doing will be balanced out, I think.
Is it fair to say that the history trail?
No, sorry.
Sorry.
In regards to the library, I'm quite concerned that a lot of books seem to have been moved out. There's small amount of shelves, a lot of the non-fiction books have disappeared and everything. That to me would put people off. If you walk into what was, you had shelves and shelves when I was at the library, it seems to be dwindling in what they're storing there. And I do think if we're supporting the library, then their share of the deal should be that the books don't go to other libraries.
Well, that's the point you put forward, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'll take that one.
Yeah, because there's like 4, if you like, thrillers and mysteries, about 6 shelves of them.
I think that the more we invest, the more we'll say we have over that service.
Yeah.
In fairness.
Yeah, and I know someone who went to get a certain non-fiction book, which they said they stopped online. When they went, oh no, we don't have that non-fiction book, we don't keep those books anymore.
I think we justified in saying that they moved for good reasons.
Yes.
But
We shouldn't have a dwindling resource.
What I'm saying is that we should be able to ask for those.
Yeah, absolutely. Councillor Moore.
This, I think you can add in Roger's request, which I'm all in favour for. It can be staggered, and it would be a lot more comfortable if it was, let's say, £5,000, or, you know, this year,
This
next
year,
year, or 3,000
yeah.
over 3 years,
Yeah.
I can't see it doing it all in 1 year.
Yeah,
And I think it would ease the.
yeah. But certain, I mean, like the library and the playground can't, you know, if you're going to refurbish a
That's a
playground,
loan,
you
isn't it?
can't do
That's a
it,
loan,
you
isn't it?
can't do it, you can't do that corner and then do that corner.
Yeah,
It's
but
got to be done.
that'd be a loan, wouldn't it? That defrays the cost over
Well,
time.
no, not necessarily.
Oh, that's a
These
library,
are all
sorry, it's a
costed
library.
to put the precept up.
Or
All these budgets here, if we agree them and we agree how we're going to raise the money, one option is to put the precept up to cover these things. Or, as I said before, then you could, if you wanted to, find the money in some other way. What's the increase in the precept?
£1.64 a week.
Per household.
No, sorry.
A month.
A month. Is it? What was it?
£87 per year.
£87 from £25 per year per household.
25.
£25 per year per household.
And increasing it to,
That's it. That's it. £25 a year increase.
increase.
So what's that? £1.64 a week. So somebody will have to sacrifice half a copy.
that was
But
my.
at least that money is
Can I just
then
chip in
coming
again?
here.
Yeah.
I take you back to a certain group in the village who said the lights, Christmas lights, are costing us. And in fact, I did repost on Facebook saying that's a cup of coffee for each of us every year. But certain people will look at that, add all the numbers together, and publicise this huge figure. Now, if we can defray that by being a bit subtle.
Interestingly though, this agenda been advertised for well over a week now. I haven't seen one member of the public turn out to argue against it.
All right, well, that's fair enough. Come on.
If someone wants to argue about the fact that it's costing £164 per week per household.
Oh yeah, but it's just saying, but you can argue, get the big number and use that. It's not beyond the wit of man for us to our benefit, defray it over and over. Like the parts can be a loan, which staggers it. Roger's could be over 2 years. Yours can't be, obviously. John's can't be. It's just a thought.
They were talking about the people that have left the library. They've camped up in our, they've closed restaurant on a Saturday morning. Yes, and I think they're knitting or crocheting or something like that.
Grocery group.
Yeah,
The,
they come and
mental health group.
oh right, and they have our tea and biscuits and things like that. You know, I'm sure they prefer to go back to the library. I'm quite sure they will.
But it's costing a bit
That doesn't
more.
happen. They just don't mention it.
Could they not come here and use the Sunday?
Unfortunately not on a Saturday. No, we're already rammed on Saturday. Yeah.
Councillor Small, would you like to talk about your history trail?
Yes, I'd like to start by saying that if I had to rank these for projects in order, I'd put my own project fairly low down. Nevertheless, I think it's a project which is well worth doing. And I say that because Handforth is changing at an incredible rate. And former features of the village are disappearing, getting knocked down, and new estates being built over them and so on. We already have now a partial history trail. The Friends of Handforth Station, I believe, funded a lectern outside the station giving something of its history. A recent set of S106 monies funded history lecterns at each end of the tank track, and I think the parish council itself funded a lectern down at the Welland Road estate to give the history of the First World War prisoner of war camp that was once located there. So, in a sense, a history trail is partially in existence anyway, and I would quite like to see that extended. The sum of £10,000 I arrived at with a bit of help from Ashley But within that, I think we might possibly get some help from various bodies. It may be that owners of very prominent Grade 2 listed properties in the parish might stump up the amount of cash required to have a lectern outside their property. It seems crazy to me that people walk past Hanforth Hall every day, for example, and there's no information about it. It would be nice to have a lectern there giving its history. And I haven't made any approaches yet, but maybe the owners of the hall would contribute towards that. Likewise, the owners of the Grange might contribute to a lectern outside their property. Yeah, yeah.
Could it would it be a good idea to like maybe like approach the schools and
Oh,
do
yeah.
like a handball history tour? Like you could be
Absolutely.
you could literally walk around with the kids and the
Yeah.
teachers and talk about each one. So then the kids have a love for handballs again. You could literally
Yeah, that would be.
you could literally be their tour guide and show them all these dead interesting
Yeah.
places, so then they can like pass that on. And I think that'd be dead good.
Yeah, the history of having an educational purpose is one of the strengths, I think, of having a history trail. I've got a postcard which shows, for example, a stagecoach and horses parked outside the pub that used to, the Greyhound pub, the black and white timbered pub that used to be on the main street.
Yeah.
Is there any sign that that pub was ever there at the moment?
No.
Not a brick, nothing at all.
Okay.
John.
That's right.
Right.
Have you considered QR codes?
Yes.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
Perhaps having an app
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
that might.
Yeah, just ring that
entice
down.
people
Yes,
in.
because then
Yeah.
you could link it all into a much bigger
Yeah.
picture
Yeah.
for the children.
That could be added
Absolutely.
to, that's more information.
The Hanforth app.
I think the local primary schools and maybe even the secondary schools could make great use of a history trail of the kind now
I
proposed.
think it'd be great if like yourself and then you can go on for years and years and years, like each year can do it, you know, like throughout the year and you can show them, walk them through Hanforth with the teachers and explain all these parts. And you can do and you'll do it with generation to generation if you can do that. It'll be
Yeah,
just nice.
I personally don't think I have too many more years to run, but
Okay, well, I think we've got the idea, haven't
Yeah.
we? So thank you very much for that. And Councillor Edward Deep, would you like to talk about your?
Can I just,
Oh, sorry.
I
Go on.
think it'd be, and it's already started, important to speak to people to get pictures of the village and information from older residents. And this should be on the website, of course, shouldn't it? There's where QR code come in, you can go to your website and but there's the farmer, Bill Shenton, you keep seeing and speak to him.
I know.
I've got
been
Bob,
well enough to do it.
a guy I speak to who's been here all his life. He's got things, we need to get this all stuff together before it's lost and memories are lost. So I need to do it back to schools. It's a great project, isn't it, this?
Very quickly.
in
because we really need to move on.
2017, my wife and I tramped around all the green spaces in Hanforth, taking photographs before the bulldozers moved in, and it's been assembled into quite a large PowerPoint presentation. I think
Website?
councillors Moore have already made use of it. I'm inclined to perhaps give that PowerPoint presentation to our clerk to put it on
I think you've given it me, Roderick.
Have you?
I've got it.
But it's not on our
You'll be
website.
staggered
Is it?
at what you see. Okay, Councillor Edward Speech.
So I've obviously asked for money for to put an event on for we thought about like an event we can hold every year, and Armed Forces Day came to mind because we find that we get Armed Forces Day, so we get one day a year. So we were thinking about trying to extend it where Hand Force will be the precedence where we start, like so with Armed Forces Week. So we'll start the Armed Forces celebration, we'll start it here, and then hopefully extend it into the week. But we can do like a big, like we've done the last couple of years with Green Day. Again, and then we can carry that on every year, and then if there is anything special in between, we can try and raise money for that. But I would like to do similar to what we did this year, every year really, but this time we'd like to do a proper stage and get acts to come, local acts to come and showcase their talents here, and we've been speaking to like lots of other people who want to attend and stuff like that, so we've had a lot of positive feedback already about to come, so if that's okay with everyone.
Okay.
Must be a set day every year.
Yeah, so I think Armed Forces Day is the, in my head 20th of June, it's probably not
Right.
that day, but we,
That's what it says on there.
yeah, is it? Well, there we go. So basically, crew have a really big Armed Forces Day. So we were obviously in touch with the Cheshire East member that sorts all that out, and we've spoken with him, and he said about let's do it the week before, so then we can make it like a week long, you know, with different people throughout the week starting to do it, and we'll be able to get all the vehicles and all the things that he has. We'll be able to hopefully get them as well, because he said he'll give us all the contacts and everything, which will be even better than ever.
Which is why Saturday the 20th of June is definitely not the Armed Forces Day.
Yeah, so that's the week.
I think it's the week before.
Yeah, that's Saturday. Yeah, so Armed Forces Day is the week after. So if we did that every year, and then it gets the handball community knowing that we support the armed forces and that we're behind them, and you know, it can be the place where people can come and celebrate it, and then so we're trying to get the railway as well to become, you know, veterans pub and whatnot, but yes, if everyone's happy with that, that'd be great.
Okay.
Every year it builds, isn't it? It gets to be known, it's every
Yes,
handful.
and people
VE
come
Day,
along
well, don't know, well, VE Day. We've got tradition already, really.
I would like it to get momentum so that people will come to Handfuls, and Handfuls is the place where Armed Forces Day in the Cheshire East area starts and then it ends in Crewe. Do you get what I mean? So
Yeah, like it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would like to start that ball rolling, because if we can get more people to Handful and also get us on the map more, then it'll help bring money in. And also speaking about, you know, the green spaces, maybe that we can use the events like that on like Christmas where we can collect money for those, because if we put these events on, it's not, you know, a bad thing to try and get something back, even, you know, to put back into the community, and it is just to put back into the community. So I don't think people would mind putting money in to make sure the parks are looking nice and stuff like that. So.
Okay, well, if there's nothing else anybody wants to ask or contribute, John?
Yeah, just the point about asking members, residents, and for money. We actually spend the money on their behalf that they pay in their council tax. So I'd be wary of asking them for money for something else.
No, it's just if you've got, you know, a little bucket, like if you've got a little bucket going on, I'm not asking for to pay to come to an event, but if like, you know, a little bucket going around, even if it's 50 quid you make, I don't know, that's a plan, or I don't know, I just think anything better than nothing, I guess.
Contribute.
The inflatables, 1,000. The youth club a contact where he charges £120 each, and he has an assault course one.
No, the one that we go with is what we had at the VE Day, and they gave us on top. So all the stuff that we had just gone, like the stalls, the inflatables, the run, we had all sorts, didn't they? And that was, apparently it was manned. So we had it manned, we got free gifts included for the kids to win. We got, how many inflatables was there actually?
I think there were about 6 or 7 or something.
Yeah, there was, and then there was the stalls, weren't there, like the carnival stalls, and so we got a lot included in the £1,000, which going around looking at other things, we could get like a little bounce cast for 100 odd quid, or but to get that amount for that price, we're going to sort of go with that, if that's all right with everything.
Okay, right. if we look at this as a whole, it's £66,000 that we're budgeting. If you agree with that, I'm not sure how we do this now. Do we put this onto the precept and therefore adjust our precept application in October? Or do we look at some other way of funding it? My preferred route, I have to say, is to put it on the precept, because we're guaranteed the money then, and we're spending it here in handfuls on things that people want.
Yes, we are elected to manage the funds for handful of residents. I don't think we have to actually link the two. We've got two items here. One is that we've got a number of projects that we want to do over the next year or so. And the other is that we've got the means of doing that. We are going to be using the precept anyway for spending. The fact that we then choose to use that precept on other items, I don't think we need to publish.
No, I don't either. And I would say to everybody that looking at the comparison to other councils around and about, we are still very good value for what we have, and we're below other people,
Well
aren't we?
below other parishes.
So even with the increase,
Even with the
we're
increase,
still below.
we're still well below.
I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, we can stand behind those numbers because of the number of homes that are now in that growth.
And anything we get back in the future can put into an.
You can put it,
We put it back in and
Yeah.
it reduces it the
And
next
you
year.
do it next year,
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I think everyone would be happy to know that if their money's going to somewhere where they live, it's going to benefit the children, it's going to benefit.
That's our raison d'etre, isn't it?
And I just think anything that's going to put back into the community and make the community better, I'm not going to moan about. I think people get a bit upset when it's going to things like
employing marketing officers.
like, rubbish that they just, and it does get them angry, like, for the, when Cheshire's got £60,000 dishwashers, that makes people angry.
It does.
So, but if it's going to the parks that the kids are playing in, or the library that they're in, I think it's worth every penny.
There'll always be some
Okay,
people
well, we're
who
gonna
object to it.
sorry.
There'll always be some people who object to it.
Yes, of course.
As
You'll
long
never
as-
please
As long
everybody
as you
all
have
the
the
time.
vast majority behind it, it's a winner.
So, we need to vote on this, don't we?
Yeah.
I'm going to propose that we accept all of these and we adjust our precept accordingly. I'd like a seconder for that. Councillor Smith, second that. All those in favour? Unanimous. Thank you very much, councillors. Wonderful. Okay, agenda item 25/2110. Noting that HTC have been unsuccessful in applying for 2 grant applications from CDF or COF, I can't read it, and the National Lottery for funding of necessary structural survey, April 24 works. Whilst HTC will continue to explore grant options, this motion seeks to set up a future fallback position of applying to the Public Works Loan Board for the sum of £250,000 for completion of these works. It says it all in the motion. Our clerk and Councillor Small put together a very
Two very large
two
applications.
very large applications. And unfortunately, we didn't get any national lottery money. And the one that we had originally was opened by the government, and it was then closed. It's never reopened. We have a list of works that we have to do to the centre, which there's some major work that will be started hopefully next year in the summer, which, because it will mean this place will have to close. But we do need to have some money there. Now, down the line, we will have some SIL money, we will have S106 money. I'm not sure what the rules are about whether what we can use, but I think we can use some of it, I'm not
We can
100%.
use the
But we
surplus.
need to have some money there to be able to do this. This is the last bastion of the community. It's all we've got left. And if this goes, there's nowhere for people to be. The church falls and that's it. We have to protect this building and have it here for the future of this community.
Can I just say, if you want money to do this place up, is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
Right, okay, sorry.
Councillor Small.
I wonder whether Ashley could refresh our memories as to how much we've got in the silk kitty at the moment.
We do have £33,000 in the silk kitty. Yeah, we do have £33,000 in the silk kitty, which we can use. It's obviously not enough to do what needs to be done, but it would offset some of this low money instantly, to be perfectly honest. Or we might have to use it. It depends on the costs, doesn't it? I've overestimated. I'm hoping I'm well overestimated. You know, I've added 10% of the 10% of the 10%, hoping that, figures that I got in April 24 are still relatively, valid. But I have still overestimated those costs. And it's not to say that you need to draw down those immediately or anything like that. It's just a fallback position. We'll still try and go for some grants.
Absolutely.
Right into this.
What do you
Little as we can draw, we need to draw down if we can, great. And of course, there's fiddles around it. I only draw it down when any contractor we get on board is demanding that first payment sort of thing. That's when you draw it down. That's when you've got 6 months to then you can start repaying it. So there's
Does
a
that answer your
long
question?
sort
That
of.
was a supplementary question. What sort of immediate expectations do we have on the SIL front or the S106 front?
It's interesting, isn't it? There's no S106 available for this bill. Zero. There's nothing in the S106 accounts, which actually is nowhere.
No,
None.
but
It's still, and what do you think?
no, if S106 money became available, that could be used
It
to.
could be used.
It could be used on this building.
But as far as I'm aware, there isn't any.
We don't have any SIL expectations in the near future, do we?
Unless Orbit actually go ahead with that little bit of land behind next.
High retail.
Yeah.
And if they sell that land, that's the old air parks.
Yeah, on Earl Road.
This is all ifs and buts.
This is all ifs and buts, which is why we need a plan.
Yeah.
Yes,
We've
sure.
got to have a plan.
How long do you borrow the money for?
How long?
To borrow the money for?
That is a decision we will have a look at nearer the time. If we borrowed it, for example, over 18 and a half years and not over 19, our repayments would be £20,000 a year.
And who's liable if we default?
We don't default.
No, I know, but you have to me, you have to look at, the off chance that, it's like,
You're not personally liable as councillor.
Pardon?
You're not personally liable.
No, but I just wonder who is.
The town council as a public body.
Yeah. What I'm saying is, if it's defaulted and we still owe, 250 grand,
We end up the same as Cheshire East.
Yeah.
I mean, do they stick up everybody's, poll tax and precept to pay it off? Because that to me is a bit.
I've never known that to happen, Wendy, so
Right.
I couldn't
That's okay.
answer that question.
I don't know, so that's why I'm asking.
We have the luxury of being able to say, we bank 20,000 onto yearly precept.
Yeah.
We have that luxury, and that's why the public works local.
So this is a Cheshire East organisation.
It's
is it?
the government.
Central
It's government.
It's the government.
Right, so they lend you the money, knowing that you either pay it back or you won't, and it doesn't matter because it's public loan.
Yeah.
That's fine.
You just have to finish it back when you draw it down. You don't ask for 250 grand all at once.
Oh, no, as you need it, so you don't draw it down in 1 month. So if you don't need all that money.
You don't draw it down.
Right, that's okay.
Okay, any more questions? Because time is pressing, we've got a lot to get through. Any more questions on that from anyone? Okay, well, I'm going to propose the motion that we apply. Can I have a seconder, please? Thank you. You've got Diana or John. And all those in favour?
I'm not clear what we are proposing. That
we
we are
apply for
proposing
the,
a loan
As a backstop, yeah.
that we apply for a loan as a backstop.
as a backstop, not we're going to apply for.
Oh, we're not going to do it tomorrow.
No. Well, that's an important point to make, I think.
Okay, so we're not going to apply for it tomorrow, but we want permission from the council. When we need to do it, we can just go ahead and do it.
Agreed, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's have a go. I'll propose that. Seconder? Thank you. All those in favour? Okay, thank you. Unanimous. Thank you. Agenda item 25/21/11 is to receive an update from Councillor Harrison regarding devolution talks between HTC and AEPC and WT, that's Alderley Edge Parish Council and Wilmslow Town Council. Over to you, Councillor Harrison.
Thanks. So just spoke to a few, a member each from Alderley Edge Parish Council, Wilmslow Town Council, and also the Alderley Edge, or one of the Alderley Edge ward councillors, on a mix of how is devolution of Cheshire and Warrington going to affect us, and how can we, what can we do? But also just generally, what can the councils do together? I'll just give you sort of the summary of it. Was 4 main things we sort of arrived on, which is mostly just on the councils working together. So we discussed some ideas of joint funding for things like extra staff for projects, stuff like that. One of those was for parking enforcement officers. So Alderley Edge and Wilmslow also have horrible parking issues, which they said, and they'd like more say on, as I'm sure we do, on where gets patrolled by the parking enforcement officers. I think one councillor proposed that suggested that we sort of have like a 2-to-1-to-1, with Wilmslow being half of the funding and time for a new officer. The idea was that it would be topped up so that between the 3 towns, we've got 6 or 7 officers. So at any time we could just make sure that we always have parking officers where they need to be, and also if we're funding them, we have some say in where they go and what they patrol, whatever. Similar idea for a park ranger. There are some complaints that we don't really have any say in what Cheshire's do, because they kind of just do what they want, and then if we ask them to do something, we get around to it last. So the idea was that we'd have some additional funding towards a park ranger, or whatever existing park rangers there are, and that we'd be able to ask them to do the specific things that the parish council or town council need them to do. Another one was on our neighbourhood plans, the 3 combined ones, all 3 of them, sorry. Not out of date, but they expire the end on the in 2030. So we discussed the idea of having some form of joint work on the neighbourhood plans for 3 areas. It was discussed that we could actually have the same consultant under all 3 of our councils, so we'd have a lot of combined research or whatever that goes into it, which lowers the cost, because the government doesn't pay for neighbourhood plans anymore. Certainly something that comes out of our own pockets, but if we do it together, it's much cheaper, and we can work together on some things. We'd still have our own neighbourhood plans out at the end of it, but that's something that's sort of going into sort of 2027, 28 start. And then the last one was the Creation Plus User Forum Group. That's actually going to happen quite shortly, I think, towards the end of this month. When I get the email about where that is and what's happening, I'll share that round. But the idea is that, like Crew has, we'd make a bus user forum of just members of the public and councillors to speak to the, is it DMG that does our buses? I can't remember now. And the council, just to say where we need topping up on our bus services, and so that we'd have more sway in which new bus services or which existing bus services we could have running more frequently. If anyone wants to join that group, I'll send around the email when it comes out. I think that was everything that we discussed. Yeah, if anyone has any questions. Yeah.
Any questions, anybody? Can we make them brief, please?
I'll just speak as I can. We spent a lot of time at when the Cheshire's governance proposals were put out, and we spent a lot of time in the paddock talking to lots of people. I think something like 94% of our residents didn't want to be included part of the same entity as Winslow and Chorley. Some of these elements in here seem to be that's what's I'm looking at. We look at the parking enforcement officers. I think we've got something like 8 in Cheshire East. We've been talking to them for quite some time about getting some extra ones in. And I actually spoke to them. They can't drink. They can't get hold of people. And I was actually talking to 2 in the Rex car park a few weeks ago, and asked how to go in. We get to handful. Where's that? And they're unable to recruit. And one of them said, "Look, I'm leaving." So 50% of the people I spoke to said there's not going to be an enforcement officer. So I think that should be looked at. But I certainly think that we should not throw away our independence too readily. Same with the parks and rangers. We've got an excellent park ranger. Would we end up with one that is not as good as the one we've already got? How much is that going to cost? Who's that?
How are you?
Paul?
Qualified tree surgeon.
No.
That's what we're talking about, really. People
Say
think,
qualified
well,
tree
that's what I think Luke's referring to.
All right.
We're not going to merge, are we? It's the old thing about if we can share resources. You know, if you've got one guy that we all employ doing whatever you want, it's a damn sight cheaper than each of us employing somebody.
Yeah.
So it's not merging, are we? That's not.
Yeah, everything that we discussed in the meeting was just to bring to the council to the idea of would we be interested in actually doing that, and if we are, then we'd say to Winslow and to Audley Edge, you know, should we all put motions forward in our next meetings to actually put funding into that? So it's just sort of a taster of what we could do if we want to push on those.
And have any costs been?
No, not at the moment.
No.
The only one I think was the neighbourhood plan, which I think Audley Edge put a number of 15,000 on. But again, that's something that's sort of a longer term anyway. That's sort of 2 years or so.
Certainly seems to be the point of the bus user forum, because it's used by all 3 equally, going from one end to the other. So yeah, quite happy for that to be covered. But I'd like to know what the costs of all this would be.
Well, I suspect if any of these come to fruition, it will have to come to council anyway, won't it?
Yeah.
I think that's a given.
Yeah, we'll need to get at some point to sort of, you know, talk back and say, did our councillors like these ideas? And if we all have any that we sort of definitely agree that we'd like to look into at the very least, then we can bring those forward individually as full motions.
Did you get much feedback from the other 2 councils about their experience with parking enforcement officers?
Yeah, it was very much that. I mean, Audley Edge brought up that I think their shops close on a Monday now. They said, and they've had parking enforcement officers there on a Monday where they don't have anyone in town anymore. So yeah, they do just frequently. That they brought up the fact that they've got people coming when they don't need them, and when they do need them, they're often wherever.
We've offered incentives to the enforcement officers that they can come here, sit down, have their lunch here, get a brew, use the toilets. How many have still come so far?
I think one.
I see them in Wilmslow all the time.
Yeah.
There's at least 4
Yeah.
wandering around Wilmslow most days of the week, because they walk up and down past my work, down to Waitrose, and I just look at them.
That's all I've got to say, Chair. That's
Yeah,
all I've got to say.
okay. Anybody else any queries on that? All right, let's move on then. Agenda item 25, 2112 is receiving updates of communications working group. Councillors Peter Morton, Councillor Harrison.
You trying to stick me already? Yeah, we finished. Well, we're not finished. Sorry, we're just getting to the end of the Greenbelt survey. We've got 31 responses so far. So we're thinking of finishing that survey towards the end of this month. So if anyone who knows anyone that might be interested in sort of putting forward voice about Greenbelt, then do let them know the survey's going on. It has mostly been just the opinion that we don't want more Greenbelt development, but again, we've got some more specifics in the survey that we'll go over next month. I think next month's meeting. Anything else, Councillor?
Councillor?
Yeah, this also relates, doesn't it, to the previous item under the heading neighbourhood plans. I think it's a good idea, as you suggested, to make a relatively early start in writing the next neighbourhood plan. And you want to do that in order to protect the Greater Manchester Handforth gap, and now you're reinforcing that in the context of this agenda item. I would like to see this council create a referendum on paper to every household, asking them whether they still want to remain in Cheshire or would be happy to be fused with Greater Manchester. I asked that question because that's what we're existing on at the moment. Back in whenever it was, and I can't remember the year, the then Wilmslow Urban District Council, which incorporated Handforth at that time, did in fact conduct a survey of whether people wanted to remain in Cheshire or wouldn't mind fusing with Greater Manchester, and the result was overwhelming in that 93%, I think it was, voted to remain in Cheshire. I would like to see Handforth conduct a similar survey of all households, asking that question today, because as our chair of the planning committee has suggested, our local green spaces, particularly in the border which separates Handforth from Stockport, is under attack now, and those attacks are going to increase in frequency, and we're going to see a rapid erosion, if we're not careful, of the thin green line, as I call it, which separates Handforth from Greater Manchester. Do we want to join with Greater Manchester, or do we want to stay in Cheshire? That's a question I'd like put to
Well, I think
the general
As a
population.
proposal and a motion to the council to discuss.
Right.
Could I just ask, Chair, could we have a straw poll now to ask who would be in favour of moving?
What, you mean at councillors?
Just now, not a vote,
No.
but just a show of hands to
Yeah,
see who would.
why
like
not?
Yeah.
We're not going to record it.
to- No?
Okay. Well, who would like us to fuse with Manchester?
Interesting. Yeah.
Who would like us to stay with Cheshire? Who's on the fence? Okay, there you go.
Yeah, interesting.
Interesting. Right, okay.
Sorry, quickly, just jump from what Luke was saying. I talk to people all the time, dog walking, and I work in the village, obviously. And certainly the idea of us having a green spaces group is being taken very favourably, I think. And people are concerned, the vast majority, very few exceptions, that we are losing continually green areas and what have you. So it's just, obviously the survey is it's going to be the official bit, but certainly the litmus test is walking around talking to people, it's definitely people who want to keep green spaces.
My question for wanting that survey that I've just been talking about is because increasingly the Planning and Environment Committee are being asked to comment on plans which involve loss of green belt along the border between Handforth and Greater Manchester. Does this council want us avidly to defend that green belt, or are we happy to let it slide so that Stockport merges with Handforth? I think that's it in a nutshell.
Question for another day, but I would say no, we don't. Anyway, that's my personal opinion. Okay, let's go on, please. 25, 21, 13 is to receive notices and correspondence. You will have all seen the correspondence from the HTC meeting with the Garden Village. I don't propose to go over it. It's a very good read. Next Tuesday, I'm holding a public open spaces meeting in the hope that we can get the green spaces group going. That will be independent of the council, but we'll have a council representative on it. But we can look and try, starting with our parks and things, but then moving on to other things. But let's just take it a step at a time. I'm not sure where it will go, but I think we definitely need it. The Remembrance Day Sunday Parade is the 9th of November 25. You are all very welcome to attend all the meeting. Everything will be given to you later on. The date for the pantomime this year is the 28th of November. And that's not right now, is it?
Well, we discussed this last week after.
Yeah, so we're having one performance at
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock.
Oh, right. No, we're not having two anymore.
The Christmas light switch on is Saturday, the 6th of December.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let me raise a question. Has anyone proposed someone to do the actual light switch on? Has anyone got any ideas?
Well, the Christmas light switch on group met last week, and yes, thank you for reminding me. What we proposed was that we would look for a champion within the handful, somebody who goes above and beyond to help somebody in their community or lots of people in their community. So I'd like councillors to have a look round. It can't be a council member, obviously. Somebody within the community who goes above and beyond that you would like to see recognised. Then if we put all of those forward for the next meeting, the October meeting, obviously you will need to speak to the people that you put forward before you do it. We'll then vote and that person will switch the lights on with the children. So please, can you get your nominated people to the clerk as soon as?
Nominate a member of staff or something like that.
You can nominate anybody within the Hamforth community.
Yeah, if you do.
It's got to be somebody within the Hamforth community.
Yeah, so if you work with like that stand out in the community that, you know, they could just do things selflessly, like, you know, go clean the parks or nothing, or like, do just someone that just stands out to you.
Yeah. Done outstanding work within the community, helping people all the time, doesn't get any recognition, just does it. You know, anybody like that, I'm sure we all know one. So please put them in for next time, the next meeting, and then we will vote on what's going on.
Does it have to be someone contributing to the area? Could it be not just someone who's been here years?
As long as they're a handful of like they live here.
As long as they're residents, yeah. Okay.
And reasons for why you're putting it forward. Yeah? Okay. So that's the switch on the 6th of December. We do need help from council. Yeah, 1 second. We do need help from councillors on that day. It's a very busy day, and at the moment I'm not 100%. I can't walk around a lot. So anybody who can come along, even if it's just for an hour or so, we would very much like you to take part. This is our council, and they are our events. That's the Remembrance Sunday, the parade, the pantomime, and the Christmas lights. The pantomime pretty much covered, to be fair.
I know I wasn't at the meeting for the events, but I was requested to speak to Santa. I booked him.
Oh, good, thank you.
He's all booked, ready.
Good.
We're going through the same format as last year. I'll pick him up, take him to where the sleigh is, and I'll bring the sleigh to Handforth. He can then get off, go to the grotto.
Okay.
The sleigh will go in because they want the Rotary wants a table, and they're going to put this.
Okay. Good, lovely. Thank you very much for that. Councillor Smith.
Just a quick question. Why only one performance of the pantomime?
Because the numbers last year were down, and it will save us money. Really, the numbers of people that came would be due for one performance, so that's why we've done it.
Getting the volunteers as well, wasn't it? That was a struggle to make, you know, getting everyone here.
The times are tricky. The times are tricky for parents. You know, starting at 4:30, just finished school, that was tricky. And then the later one, because of the length of time the pantomime runs, the later one's running too late, so it's too late for the kids as well. So no matter what you do.
So we're compromising.
Yeah.
6 o'clock.
Yeah.
Just
Yes.
to say, Madam Chair, there was an email that came out from Cheshire about resilience training. Just to say, I have signed up for it, and there may be some work involved with the council, I'll let you all know.
Yes, lovely. Thank you very much.
Obviously, sign the vote.
Agenda item 25/21/14 is to agree the date of the next full council meeting on the 14th of October at 7:30 p.m. That is the end of the current meeting. Can you please turn the...
Yeah, not 7 o'clock,
7:30.
7:30.
We've got a finance meeting.
So,
So it's 7:30.